Hello. What's poppin'?
Hey everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of the 405 Diaries, your go-to podcast for real talk on college and mental health.
Hey everyone, we're your big sisters. I'm Lily.
I'm Madison.
I'm Bella.
And I'm Preston. In this podcast, we all come together to show our own personal journeys, stories, and give advice from our own little diaries.
So in this podcast, we'll be talking a little bit about how to navigate your own mental health and well-being while in college.
As we transition from summer break into the fall semester of college, today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to get back into your college routine.
Whether you're a returning student or you're coming into college for the first time, we are just here to provide a few tips and tricks for getting back into school in your own routine, and we have some personal strategies and tricks that we'd love to share with you.
From managing your time effectively to balancing your social life and your education, we've got you covered.
So grab your coffee, your energy drink, or a little snack, and let's chat about how to make this academic year your best one yet.
My summer, so I was pretty busy. I did a lot of cheer and a lot of work, and work was cheer this summer, which was honestly really nice because it gave me something to do and something I enjoyed to do. So I worked for UCA staff, and then I was here the whole month of July, and then obviously tryouts right whenever school got out, start back up, and that was pretty much all I did this summer.
Yeah.
Work and cheer.
That's good.
Yeah.
This summer, I studied abroad in Spain and Barcelona with my best friends, and it was the four of us, and we traveled everywhere, and it was so much fun. And then I moved back in for recruitment, so that was pretty much my summer. It was jam-packed, but so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, how was yours, Lily?
Oh my gosh, let me just tell you. I worked at a summer camp all summer. It's called Kanakuk K1, just a little plug. And I got to spend the first half with 6 to 8-year-olds, and I just love kids. I love working with kids. And then the second half, I was working with OU Athletics. I was a graphic design student intern.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I still have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which will be really awesome. So got to spend a lot of time with my friends, my family, and just getting to really enjoy quality time with them.
Yeah, so this summer I spent a lot of time at home just with my family and my dogs, and I traveled a lot. I spent a lot of time in Dallas. I was in Dallas for our sororities national convention this July, and then I had my grandma's birthday, and I also was in Jamaica. That was so much fun.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, just spending a lot of time at home with my family, just relaxing before junior year gets started.
Yeah, so I think just the mental shift of summer to fall is a pretty big transition because it's once fall starts, then it's just school all the way until summer. For me personally, my transition was different this year because I was studying abroad, so I was still doing school, but it was still just different in general because it was I only had one class then versus coming in here when I'm a full-time student. The environment's different. It's just switching on that class mode and getting that schedule back in versus my summer schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like this summer was also different for me because this summer, instead of working and having a real job where I'm actively doing things all day, using my, using my brain, I don't know, it was different coming back to school, picking up a pencil. I was I forgot how to write first.
Yeah.
I didn't forget how to write, but my handwriting was sloppy.
Yeah.
And obviously, I advanced the things that I love doing and hobbies and cheer and all of that, but I didn't really use my brain as much this summer as I normally do. And so coming back to school, I was whoa,
Yeah.
I have to pick up a pencil? What?
For sure.
So
I feel kind of same here. So this summer I didn't have a job, and this is my first time not having a job for the summer because I was home, didn't work out, and then I was traveling all July, so I just didn't get a job. I did have an online class, so I was using my brain, and that was the very beginning of the summer, and then it just kind of stopped, and I started traveling. And getting back in, I'm living in the same apartment, so it's not I had to move in or anything. I kind of just came back to my old life, and it almost felt I didn't even have a summer because it wasn't I was doing working or something else. I just came back to my old life, and I'm oh wait, it's school again. But I haven't been doing school, but it felt no time had passed at all, really.
Yeah.
That's me too. I've been living in the same apartment for, I guess this is my 3rd year now. I felt quite out of practice as well coming back. I think working with OU helped me just get back into a routine. I was living in Norman. I was, using Photoshop every single day. Like, of course, the first week back from camp was a huge culture shock. I mean, I hadn't seen a screen in like 6 weeks. And so, like, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Maybe not writing because I don't write, but definitely my skills on Photoshop were a little dusty.
Yeah.
So
I think just in conclusion of just, it is a big mental shift in any aspect of your life whenever you are in school.
Actually have to turn your brain on. Like, I have my first exam this week, and we're like 3 weeks into school. Like, in first week it wasn't even school. It was like syllabus week. So this is like, you dive right back in for sure.
Yeah.
It's not like high school where it's like you have weeks before your first exam. No. Like, it's just like you have syllabus week. It's really not even syllabus week. Like, some classes it's like, okay, let's start chapter 1.
Quiz.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When it comes to common challenges, I just feel like there's like a couple things that go into like being an out-of-state student. I do get homesick. I'm from Houston. I'm 6 hours away from home. It's not like just a quick drive home. It's kind of like if you want to go home, you have to plan that in advance because it's almost a whole day trip. So kind of just managing being homesick, being away from my family, my dogs, that kind of thing, and then adjusting just to coming back to college and like the new life and everything.
Fun fact, me and Madison are from the same exact neighborhood.
Yes.
So we grew up together, but I mean, I can totally agree with that just because we are 6 hours away from home and it is far, and I think that's a challenge whenever you are adjusting to college and navigating that aspect mentally and physically. Is just being out of state, you're already physically in another state. So like that can get hard sometimes, especially like when you are feeling like you do need to go home, and just making that one big first move back up to school is stressful. But yeah, along just like not having your family close to you.
I don't get as much homesick anymore because my parents moved to a different house than the house I grew up in. So it's not necessarily the home anymore, and I see my parents all the time. They're like up in Norman, up wherever I'm at, come and visit me like 24/7, doesn't matter where I am. But one thing I do miss is my dog. Like I never see my dog, and thankfully I got to go home this weekend, and it was my first time seeing my dog since May. It was my
That's
first
insane.
time. First time going back to Amarillo since May. I'm also out of state. So it is like difficult being away from home, even with the aspect of like home isn't really my home anymore. It doesn't feel like it because I see my family in all places. It's more just like my dog.
Yeah.
I get that. Honestly, I also don't get that much. Like, I don't get it. Only like my homesickness comes in waves. It's like randomly, like after a really hard week, I'm like, wow, I would love to just go home and like not do anything.
Just, like, nothing.
But it's also like school gets so busy, and I feel like I have so much going on all the time where I feel like it's easy not to get homesick for me personally, just because it's like you're always doing something anyways. So I'm like, I don't have time to even feel homesick at moments, but then there are times where I'm like very homesick. It's like either or. It's either I'm like completely not, or I'm like needing to go home desperately.
Absolutely. I have a different problem. I think my problem is busyness, and my family's from Edmond, so they're very close. But my problem is that I get too busy, and it's hard for me to balance my home life with my life that's in Norman. And I'm constantly focused about school and my friendships here, and I used to be on the rowing team, and so that was a really big part of my life. And so it was really hard for me to come home on the weekends because I had practice every single day. I realized that I have a great community in Norman, but it's also such a blessing that I still have community really close, because I feel like I can tend to friends who don't have family in the state.
Like I feel like having that just a break to go home during school, like planning it out, especially being 6 hours away, is like important to like prioritize if that's something that you need. That way you can just like relax, have time by yourself with your family, away from your hometown. But like you still have your friends here that are your home. So yeah, I feel like it's a good balance.
Yeah, but it's just also adjusting to like, oh, the new things, like there's no H-E-B in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that is weird. So it's like it's like the little things.
Grocery store, like adjust, like
ultimately it's just like adjusting to that too, just like a different environment. Like I'm just directionally challenged, so also like coming here, like I know home like the back of my hand, but I don't literally still as a junior I literally have to put in my maps to go pretty much anywhere except Target. I know how to get to Target. But except Target or like a few places like the nail salon I can get myself to but for the most part, it's like adjusting to that. It's like different, and the layout's different.
Like based on new environments, every single year that I've lived in Norman, I've lived in a different spot. So it's been like freshman year dorm, then you have to adjust to dorm life. which is
Yeah.
crazy in itself. And then sophomore year, then like I lived in the sorority house. So yeah, we lived in the sorority house, and that's like a new thing on its own. So you're adjusting to a whole nother environment. And now this year, like junior year, now I'm living in a house. And so now you're adjusting to a whole new environment. Like I've never like not had like dorm, like you have food for you, like meal swipes, everything. And then sorority house, you have like food made for you. So I've never had to like think about me making myself food. And now like I'm living on my own and I'm like, oh my gosh, new environment, I have to cook. Like,
Yeah. It affects like
like
everything.
that, like, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like
And at home,
making
then
your
like
own meals.
my mom cooks for me.
Like my mom.
So
and
I'm
my
like,
dad. It's crazy. I'm making like trying to make gourmet meals and I'm burning everything. And like you have to go to the grocery store every week because it's like, oh, things go bad first of all.
Yeah.
And
Especially by yourself, because like at home you like it's your whole family eating, but versus here it's like, oh, that goes bad because I'm the only person eating it.
Exactly.
Right. Like my blueberries. I love blueberries, but gotta eat them fast.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
get 'em down.
Like my home routine, like, well, obviously I was like gone all summer, but when I was home, I like actually rotted in bed.
Yeah.
And I was really, really lazy because I was like on the go from literally finals week last semester to unpacking out of the sorority house, moving back into my house, and then packing up for Spain, and I had to pack up all this stuff. And then so when I got home, like I really did take the time to like rot and like do nothing before I knew that I would be slammed packed with everything else to do.
And out of all people, you should take that time.
Yes.
Bella goes until she can't go anymore.
It's very true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So I did take some time off this summer to rot and like actually do nothing and like spend time with my family. But also I've also like my home routine is just like literally like I feel like I don't have a schedule at home, but also because I didn't really have anything scheduled for this summer, at least like I didn't have a job, like something that I had to do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something like that. So it's like my home routine, like I love slow mornings where like I could actually get up and like wake up my body like slowly and then like get ready for the day versus like college. I feel like I am
like
go.
5 a.m.
I wake up, I go, I have to work out, I have class at this time,
Yeah.
I need to go to the grocery store, I need to do this. So it's like that routine is also different, adjusting to like from this summer specifically was like literally rotting and doing nothing after the go, but rotting and then back into like getting everything together and like making sure I'm actually like being a productive human.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I'm a big advocate for bed rotting. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like having more of a set schedule here, it helps me because I know I'm a procrastinator. Like it's just like kind of hard for me to really look at my planner. That's kind of something I'm trying to get Bella to rub off of me on because she is very like set and like looks at her planner all the time. Getting back into school has been a big adjustment for me. Like just looking at my planner, making sure I'm having everything spread out. I'm not overbooking, that kind of thing. I'm remembering when I have things going on.
yeah.
I feel like that's a big adjustment for me because I came from doing like not really anything kind of to just like being on go. Like when I get here, I have stuff for my sorority, like I hang out with my friends, and then school it's just like go.
I personally, I don't like to feel lazy. I love the busyness, and you know, I would have friends ask me like, how are you feeling about coming back to school? And you know, my first response is always like, oh, I'm so thankful for a routine because I feel like what you said, there's structure, like I know when to take my meds. I kind of like juggling. It honestly tests me a little bit because it's like, how much can I handle without overloading myself, but also realizing that you have limits and there is a mental capacity and we do have a social battery and like not overloading ourselves too, because then that's when we start to burn out. And that's when college becomes way too stressful.
Then I also feel like just like with the being busy, like I feel like my brain works better that way, but I'm also the type of person that likes to be alone and likes to have my time. So like that's why I'm a bit advocate for bed rotting. So this summer,
And
like
recharge.
recharge. Like I took a couple weeks to recharge before I was on go the rest of the summer, like traveling and all that. So I feel like in that aspect of like taking time to recharge. Then here, like you don't have time to recharge as much. So I feel like being at home, relaxing is good, and then you just go right back into being on go again.
Yeah.
I need to also learn how to bed rot. Some things will never happen for me, but
I
I'll
need
try.
to too.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah.
One day I was like, you know what I'm going to take today and just stay in my room, stay by myself.
I think that would stress me out.
But yeah, also just to help make that transition easier for me is I always have to tell myself to take things one step at a time because I get so overwhelmed with just everything. Like I feel like, see, I'm like the opposite. Like I literally am like, oh, like, how do you feel about coming back to school? I'm like, I can't, because I get so overwhelmed here, and I think everybody that is around me knows that.
Yeah.
I like to be busy. I like it, but I do stress myself out about the littlest things. And I definitely think, obviously, yes, that takes a big toll on my mental health, because I do never feel relaxed ever.
Yeah.
Like, ever, I don't ever feel like I can sit and just do nothing. I can't.
Yeah.
And when I do, then I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like,
That's how
why am I sitting doing nothing when I have 10 million things on my plate to do?
Yeah.
So that's why I took advantage of it this summer. But I feel like that is like a good way to transition, is to take things one step at a time, because no matter what like part you're in, as in if you're returning or if this is your first time coming to college, like it's all always going to be overwhelming, you know,
Yeah.
moving in, you know, starting a new year, anything like that. So I think just to fully take things one step at a time, it helps.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let me get this in like a you know, like a legit checklist, because I think I just try and do like 7 things at once to be like time efficient, but instead I'm just like bringing myself down mentally. So I think that's a good piece of advice, is to take things one step at a time and like truly get things knocked out of the way and like be productive in that way.
Yeah.
And back to like having a checklist too. I heavily rely on checklists, and there's something so fulfilling about just marking, you know, one task after the other, even if it's simple. Like, oh, I have laundry and I haven't, you know, done my laundry in weeks, and I need, you know, more shirts. Like making that the first step, and then once you check that off, you're like, oh, like we're in a good roll.
For sure.
That helps the time management too.
So I feel like that's something I want to work on this semester, is just like having a set schedule for life.
That's the best way. Establishing a routine for college is like key. You know, while transitioning from summer into college or school or whatever, that is like the biggest piece of advice. Even if you aren't anal like me and have it time blocked like every day, or like, you know, I think at least if you have a baseline of things like, you know, top priority in this, establishing a schedule is just very important. I think
For sure.
also, I would just say for homesickness is to really just block out time. Like, if you know you are a person that gets homesick a lot, like, block out time when you're going to go home, or, you know, your parents and your family, or, you know, they're going to come up and see you. Like, another thing, calling your mom.
Yes.
Like, I literally text my mom every single day. I Snapchat my mom all the time.
Anytime I'm in the car.
So it's like that's also helps too, is either if you are really busy, adding that into your time to schedule out a weekly call, a daily call, let them know that you're alive and doing well, you know, and also like that helps my homesickness too, is because I am constantly texting and keeping up with the people that I do love. So it's like, I don't, you know, of course I miss them and I wish I was there in person, but it does help me feel like I'm not so distant, because I'm like, what are they doing in their lives? Like, I, you know, you keep up with that.
Like, that's how I am with my mom. I text her, I call her about everything, like everything that goes on. Like, I will debrief her about my day all the time. And I just feel like that, like, it does take away from the homesickness, because I feel like she knows all the characters in my life here. Like, she knows everything that's going on. Like, she may have never met these people, but she knows all of their names, because I tell her, like, all about my day and that kind of thing. And I feel like she's here in a way, because I'm just constantly, like, informing her, like, texting her.
Don't be a stranger too much to the ones that you love, and, like, your family and your friends and stuff, you know. Also, I just feel like decorating your space is also so important to me, to not feel homesick, because in every space that I've been in, the blank walls get me every time. I don't know what it is, but they make me go insane. Like,
it's like you're in a jail cell.
I know. I can't be a minimalist. I have to have like 20 things everywhere, which is bad for my clutter, but I need to make it feel homey. Like, I have to put pictures. I have to put like little things on my wall that like remind me of home, or just at least making a space a home, you know? So I think also establishing a new space as your home also can help the homesickness aspect.
Back to my dog, I have a pillow for her on my bed.
See, like that, like little things.
Literally a life-size pillow of her.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so fun.
Same with like living in the same space again. Like, I've found myself, like, I'm like, okay, like, I want to get these panels, or like a wallpaper on my wall. It's just like, I want to like redo a space, because I feel like if I'm just sitting in the same space that I sat in last year, I feel like I'm just living the same life, which is like, this is a whole new year, new goals, new priorities, that kind of thing. Like, so growth. I feel like redecorating this space, like, not redoing the whole room, but just like doing little things to change it up to where it's like, I feel like I'm in a new environment.
Updating pictures.
It's like that kind of thing. I still have pictures from high school on my picture frames. Like, I really need to update those, like that kind of thing.
Own your space. Make it yours. You know, like, I feel like when you do decorate your space, you are admitting that, like, I live in Norman right now. And it's different than where my home is, but
Yeah.
I'm accepting it. I love my bedroom, and I call it my little project because
Oh, I love that.
I have curtains. I've made it a priority to have plants, like disco balls. Yeah, photo wall.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like it's cluttered, but it's me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's all things that, speak me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would just say for when you are adjusting to a new environment, as in like when we were touched on earlier, college town versus like hometown, like how it's like, yes, they're similar. Like obviously, like we have grocery stores, we have houses around and like that, like it's similar. But I think just exploring it too helps adjust, because it's like, it's scary because you don't know. You're scared of the unknown, as in like you don't know what's around. You don't know where to eat. You don't know where to shop.
Yeah.
You don't know, like honestly, like just get in your car and drive around, obviously safely and like be safe. But like I think just like explore your area and like learn and like have your places that you go to that like, I know like for us in our friend group, we're like, oh my God, we can't wait to go eat at Thai Delight.
Yeah.
Like that is like a place that like we don't have at our hometown, but we have at this town,
Right.
you know, and like having your
the
like,
Mont, like
yeah.
go. It's great.
Like stable places though that make
Yeah.
this town more homey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll go home or somewhere else and be like, oh, the Mont sounds great.
Yeah.
Or like
So I think just like getting familiar with your area,
Right.
you know, it's like, yes, it's a change, but like once you like get familiar with it, like you'll learn to love it and you'll have things to love, but you just have to go out there and explore it and like get comfortable.
Yeah.
from my personal experience, I did not have a car as a freshman, at least for the first couple
Me either.
months.
I had Bella as my chauffeur.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
yo,
so like
Bella.
I was heavily dependent on meeting people on campus.
Yeah.
And like there are always things that will be available. I got really connected through the BCM, and that's how I met my roommate. That's how I got involved in small groups, and through that, like I found my chauffeur. Like I was able to go to fun places. I was able to have friends take me to Target when I needed to grab some essentials. Like you cling on to those, experiences and those people through campus. I think that's a huge blessing, is that like we're all doing the same thing. We're all going through the same stage of life. Like why not just hang out and do it together and, connect that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even like this year, like, I'm no longer a freshman, but I still try to meet the most people because like it's awesome. Like this is everyone's first time in life. Like this is like, everybody's still learning and adjusting, and no matter like what aspect you're in, it's like you could always grow, meet people, and
For sure.
And I feel like for us, like we went to high school together. We were in the same friend group in high school, but like now we're obviously still good friends. But like we also like we're in different sororities, like at different councils even. Like, it's like we're all living like our own different lives, but like we just still can come together and hang out, talk about hometown things, like that kind of thing. It's like we're growing, but we're still like together in that.
I think
that
that
is so
definitely
special.
helps to get over just in adjusting to your area. It's definitely meeting new people.
All right. So another thing, like, to work on, especially in college, is like time management. We did already like touch base on that a little bit, but like the importance of it, like academically, socially, like being an athlete, being in a sorority, like trying to like do everything all at once. It's like it ends up like really taking over your entire life, like to where you don't even know if you have time to like do your homework, or like I'm on my way to practice, like all of this stuff. Like, do I even have a social life? I don't know. Like, how do you make time for it? So I am scatterbrained, but I always get everything done. So like I'm like crazy about being early. So I show up to practice like an hour early, and like while I'm there, like I work on getting better, and then I have practice, and then after practice I know that I'm supposed to like eat and then go to the gym and then do homework, shower, go to sleep. That's what I do every single night. And so like, and then during the day I just know I have these classes that I have to do, and then every single night I do the exact same routine, like get to practice an hour early, or like go stunt an hour early, do all of this. And then like that's how I keep up with myself, is by like doing the same thing every single day, and then like having a social life after I get like my priorities done.
While navigating college, like time management is super important. It's practically like I would say that's what makes the roundabout go round. I think it is really like the number one rule to navigating not only college but life. Like, that's just like time is time. I know there's only 24 hours in a day, and every day is like the same timeline, but it's like it truly is important.
I just feel like for me, I'm very scatterbrained. Like that's just how I work. Like I work better under pressure. I work better when I'm like my brain is like the thing is like if I plan too far ahead, I just am like wait. Like I'm more of like a go with the flow, that kind of thing. Like if something's planned that day, I'm very good about like just sticking it in. Like I'm very good at moving stuff around, having time management, that kind of way. It's just like for me, procrastinating and planning it ahead of time and like having it set, that's something I still need to work on, but like that's just not how my brain works, and I've learned that. That's something I'm trying to like incorporate just a little bit more, just because it is like at a certain point it's like okay, like I kind of forgot about this, but I realized that day and I like made time for it for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm a little scatterbrained too, but in a way like I can only look at like a week in advance. So
yeah, same.
I look at my week as a whole and I'm like, oh, I have this, this, and this. Like, oh, we are recording tonight and then I have this tomorrow night. And it's just like things are starting to stack up too. Like, I feel like after Labor Day, that's when school becomes really real.
Yes.
And like people are making firm groups and you're getting organized and like things are becoming more consistent. And so realizing like there are some things in my life that are going to be consistent each week, and then I can kind of fill in those moments that don't have class, or maybe I don't have a Bible study, or I don't have small group time that I can use to invest in other people. I can work on schoolwork. I can plan out trips with friends. And sometimes I don't even need the planner for that.
Yeah.
Like, if it's consistent every single week. But, like, especially weekends are a big thing for me now. And I don't even know what I'm doing next weekend. I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, that kind of
but
thing. It's like I really take it day by day for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Hey, take it one step at a
One
time.
step at a
One
time.
step at a time.
Sometimes things just pop up. It's like, oh, hey, let's go get ice cream tonight. Like that kind of thing. Oh, let's go to this. Let's do that.
Spontaneous.
It's just like it can be very spontaneous, and I feel like that's like how I operate. Like that's
See,
good
yeah,
to me.
and that's where I don't, because
Yeah.
it literally causes me to have a mental breakdown because I'm like, that's not in my
That's
planner.
what, that wasn't
Yeah,
what
I'm
I
like,
thought I
no,
was
this
doing.
time is
Yeah.
actually for this. So like, it like I struggle with that, but that is something we are gonna get over. But
Yeah. It's just like little things. Like it's funny how like we all just like kind of have the same things, which like we all individually need to work on. Like
oh
Yeah.
yeah. One of the most common issues when it comes to time management is definitely procrastination. I think I can speak for all, is procrastinating. I've learned though from high school transitioning into college, thankfully I've learned, because that's when I was finally diagnosed with ADHD and finally learned to not procrastinate through literally other coping mechanisms and studied techniques and stuff like that. So, I mean, I still procrastinate from time to time with a lot of things, but that is definitely an issue when it comes to time management, because, you have your schedule, but then you push something off to the last minute. It takes you longer than you expect, or, oh, okay, I can't do this and this and this because I have to do this, which is a top priority. So I think procrastination is obviously a big issue. That's an out for this year. An out for 2024 is procrastination.
Yes,
it's been out.
I like that.
It needs to be out, because
I can't just keep saying I'm going to stop procrastinating.
like
I'm going to stop procrastinating.
I cannot wait 5 more minutes. Like if you start 5 minutes earlier and the task takes 5 minutes, you're done by the time then you even thought you were going to get started.
That's
so like
True.
Like starting assignments early and like just anything, like to-do lists, even like other things, like for my banners that I paint. Like I've been trying to be good about it. But yeah, even with like the banners and all the crafts that I do, I like try and at least take it one step at a time. And I'm like, okay, today I'm going to trace. Tomorrow I'm going to start painting the words. The next day I'm going to start doing this. So just definitely like focus on
breaking
up, making baby steps, so that way you're spending more time doing smaller tasks too, and they're better quality than, like, imagine if you were painting that banner like the night before it was due, like,
which has happened
and it probably
plenty of times, and it is like the worst.
And I think regarding like procrastination school wise, that's a really big thing for me. Is procrastination is like avoiding something that you don't want to do, like you're fearful of whatever's happening, and so I'm always fearful about school. I don't like to feel like I'm under pressure. I don't like to not know things. I know there are some assignments I'm artistic, and so I focus more creatively. I work on projects. That's my bread and butter. But like assignments that regard writing, research, more critical thinking that is involved, I just put that off until the last moment. And then those never turn out well because I'm sitting in my bed at 11:30 at night just praying that this gets done before the clock strikes
59.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I think reminding myself that if I put it off, then that is what's going to happen in my future.
Yeah.
But if I decide to do that now, then I am avoiding what I have been putting off and avoiding what I'm fearful of, which is not meeting the deadline.
Yeah.
And deadlines are huge in college. And, like, I don't know if for those who are in a high school or are in college with us as well, realize that, like, you know, deadlines are really harsh in college and professors have zero grace.
Yeah.
Maybe a little, but
like you said, the writing, that kind of thing, like for one of my classes, like it was like, oh, it's just a 1-page essay. It was like before game day, like it was like, I think it was like 1. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write it really quick. It's not gonna take me long. It's just 1 page. Like it's not gonna take me that long. Double space too. Yeah. So I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, this is taking me longer than I thought. And it's getting into my getting ready time. Like I need to get ready for the game and go. And like that kind of thing is like really something I'm working on, is like planning. Like don't leave just because it's like a writing assignment. That's not something you like to do. Don't leave it for the last minute. You should do those kind of things early. Actually, that way you get it out of the way. And it's not like, oh, I don't want to do this assignment. Like, oh, I already got it done. And like leave the assignments, like the creative type assignments, for the end, because you're looking forward to doing those. So you're like something you're looking forward to rather than dreading.
Like, I normally, once I'm given something, I normally get it done right away unless I forget about it. It's not so much
That's valid.
procrastination.
That's
like,
valid.
I'll, like, get things done, but it's, like, a matter of if I'm thinking about it in that exact moment or not.
That's kind of how I am too.
I don't know if
feel
that makes sense.
That goes with like being scatterbrained. It's like, okay, like oh, I'll think to do this. Like especially like just like random things like cleaning. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then for some reason my kitchen needed cleaning, but I'm not done cleaning my bathroom. Like that's kind of how I operate. Like and I kind of do that with assignments too. Like I will like, oh my gosh, like let me do this really quick. Like I will scatter. Like that's kind of just how my brain works, and I get things done that way. But it's like.
Yeah.
It'll always get done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing too, is also like obviously you're not home, and the adjusting to college is also like your mommy isn't there to tell you to do anything.
Yeah.
Also do anything for you, but it's also like there's no one there being like, okay, let's go to the gym now. Okay.
Let me
like,
hold your hand
obviously you
while
can
we
still
go.
find amazing supportive people to do that. It's not, but it's just more like no one is like babying you, you know. You'll obviously find amazing people that will support you. But it's less of like, okay, we need to do this. You need to eat breakfast today. You know, and baby you on. It's more like, you know, so that's another thing, is like you have to be the one to tell yourself to stop procrastinating, as in like you can't sit around and like have someone else like tell you.
And just forgetting.
Yeah, and just plain forgetting.
Yeah,
But also just needing to find that push in yourself, though.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have that drive and that push in yourself to, like, get over that challenge.
I also feel like having, like knowing friends that you can do things with, like, oh, you have friends that you go and do these type of things with, but you have friends that you can study with, friends that you go and work out with, that type of thing, where it's, like, you have someone also pushing you. Like, obviously, yes, it is on yourself, but like you said, it is good to have, like, community of people.
Yeah.
So someone, you know, you two are going to go to the library together, go study together, do homework together.
Yeah.
Not that you're doing the same things, but you both like to dedicate time to do that. You both take the time to go to the gym together, that kind of thing. Like having a structure with someone else, I feel like that helps me. Like
having that community and support system, like as we touched on earlier too, like navigating the area that you're in is also nice. Just the support comes in like you don't have anyone pushing you to do anything like a mom or anything like in that type of way, but it's good to have like obviously friends to do things with and like having that support.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, if someone's like, oh, I'm doing this, and you're like, well, I might as well do it too.
Yeah,
at the same time, like
it's very easy to find that, like, just kind of like sitting in class, like I'm really good about like just making friends in class and just like sitting next to each other. We might not know each other outside of class, but like, oh, you're going to the library after class? Okay, I'll go with you.
Like your school friend.
Your school friend.
Your school friends.
Yeah, and I feel like that's really easy to find in college. Like everyone is like kind of welcoming that kind of way, because we're all kind of going through the same thing. But, like no matter what kind of backgrounds, what we're doing actually in college, like we're still all college students at the end of the day, trying to get through life, get things done. It's an assignment like that. So I feel like everyone kind of looks out for each other in that kind of way.
There's something so delightful about accountability.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everyone wants it. Everyone will be open to it and welcome it in. Like having that integrity with your school friend, or maybe your cheer friend or your sorority friend, like little things. Me and my roommate, we're doing the 75 hard right now. And so we're both like holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
Have you drank your water today? Oh, no, I haven't. Let's go chug together.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
There's there's a huge blessing in that.
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
like, we're not meant to walk through life alone.
No.
Like,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think college welcomes community in. So
Yes.
well.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
No matter what
I
you're
agree.
doing, like it's like not like you don't have to be in a sorority, like that kind of thing. That's just like, but I just like being in college. Like there's so many people around you, so many different type of people. It could be different than what you're experiencing in high school. Like you could find a whole new group of people, different interests, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's like always fun coming into college with so many new people. Like college is very diverse, so I feel like that's a really good thing too.
Another challenge, as Preston has brought up before, is overcommitting many things at once. That's another challenge. I think that also conflicts with time management,
Right.
because obviously that means you're doing too much at once.
You can't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
Very true.
So
Very true.
learning how to say no,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
It
Such a
is
hard
so
thing.
hard.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I need to
Lot of
learn how to
things.
say yes more. 'Cause
Really?
Sometimes I'm like, someone wants to hang out, and it's nighttime. I'm like, oh, I have my nighttime routine. Like, I don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
Selfishly.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we can learn from each other. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is like so unlike me. I have to be like, go, go, go. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do
Yeah.
this. I have to make this person happy and go make this person
Yeah.
happy and like go to all the things at
Yeah.
once. Like it actually is so hard, and so I need to.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I struggle with that too sometimes, overcommitting. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do all these things
I
today.
have 5 birthday parties, 3.
Yeah, I'm
dinners.
saying yes to this. It's also like, again, with my banner orders, I'm like, okay, yes, I might have literally 5 this week, but like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say no to one person, so then I'm like overcommitting to the point
Right.
where it's like affecting me mentally and physically, because like now I'm like lacking sleep, and then
Yeah.
also like mentally, obviously I'm drained from. I love to paint stuff, but it's like there are things I need to
Yeah.
prioritize, as in my education and
Yeah.
my well-being. So it's like
For sure.
overcommitting is hard, and that definitely does affect time.
Yeah.
it's so burdensome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
constantly pleasing other people.
Yeah.
And, dedicating your time. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you guys, like, what your love language is, but, quality time is a big one, or acts of service. Like, and that could be, like, sacrificing your time for other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you really do care about these people, then, like, you will be willing to, like, mark out a time in your day to go and
Yeah.
care for them, see them.
I also feel like whenever you're like trying to like do everything and make everyone happy, it just like makes you not have fun.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So it's like making sure that you still like have a great time without being like stressed out by like trying to do everything at once as well. Like you
And-
think that you're making people happy and then your like face doesn't look like it because you're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I have to do so much.
That's another thing with me and like overcommitting. It's also like, yes to others, I do feel that as well,
Yeah.
but it's also like I overcommit to myself.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my day being like, okay, you could have done this today, even though I've done 25 things today. Like I put that onto me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I do it to myself because I'm like trying to be my best self, but it's like still affecting me so mentally
Right.
to overcommit like that. And so it's like that's a big thing and challenge. Definitely is overcommitting, not only to others but like for yourself, and like
Yeah.
it's like finding that balance of
And-
committing.
Yeah, and having those people that understand, like that kind of thing. It's like, okay, like I had this today, and it's like I just feel like there's a lot of people that are understanding. It's like, okay, like I understand, like, oh, you can't come to my birthday dinner, you had this, and that. It's just
Yeah.
like finding that group, and I feel like people are understanding in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like for me personally, like I know that I like to be alone, so I won't like not all the time, but like I just like prioritize, like I have to have some time just to by myself. Like I just like my social battery runs out.
Yeah.
So I feel like in that kind of way, I don't really like overcommit in that kind of way, just because I'm like, I know to have time for myself, like that's something I prioritize, and for my mental well-being, I have to do that. Like I'll stay until 11, but I won't go to bed until 12 because I have 11 to 12 just for myself, like that kind of thing.
So like finding that schedule and not overbooking yourself is like probably one of the like best things you can do. I'm just still working on that, me
Yeah.
personally.
Sure.
Friends are a blessing too. So don't try and push them away if you're feeling a certain way. I mean, recognize your mentality as well and your social battery, but also like keep it in consideration who you have close, and maybe you can draw them closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't undercommit.
Yeah, don't under.
Don't overcommit, but
but
also
don't
don't.
over.
Yeah. I feel
Then
like
don't under.
that's something that like kind of like with my friends, it's like, okay, well, I know I want to like have some time for myself. It's just like I'll go, like I'm going to say yes because of, like it's like we only get this time once, just to spend time with your friends like that. And like whenever you're an adult, you're all like we all move away from each other, so I feel like you only have this time really just to say yes in that aspect. So I feel like I'm good about saying yes like in that kind of way, but like maybe I'll leave like earlier than everyone else will, just so I can still have that time just for me. My social batteries died down, like that kind of thing. Just making sure that you're saying yes and not undercommitting, but still having the time for yourself and your well-being.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel
Also, like, what's helped me with the overcommitting for myself is also just, like, being okay with what I have done. Like, I do need to, like, give myself the pat on the back.
Yeah.
Like, you still did good today. Like, yeah, you might not have done everything that you committed to today. You still did good. So it's also just, like, be easy on yourself, you know? Don't be too easy to where you're procrastinating,
Yeah.
as we mentioned before, but don't be too hard where it's, like, taking a toll. Keep yourself busy, but don't overcommit so much and don't get mad at yourself whenever it's like, okay, I have so much going on. Like, you know, you shouldn't be putting that much on your plate anyways, like, you know, over to the line where it's going to be crossing it.
It's awesome that you hold yourself to such a high standard because,
Oh.
I mean, yes, I
Yeah.
mean, perfectionism,
Yeah.
I'm sure you struggle with that.
Yes.
But also, like,
Definitely.
you are constantly, like, seeking to better yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, too, when you do get down about the things that you didn't do today, it's always good to just list out all the things that you did accomplish.
Yeah.
Even if it was little.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I worked out today. Like, that was really hard,
Yes.
but I did it. And,
Yeah.
like, oh, I had 3 meals. Like,
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
a hard
simple
one.
things.
Literally, like, I
taking
found
care of
time to
yourself.
do that, like, because
Yeah.
I am I'm like, oh, I'm painting, and then I have class, and then I have this, and then I'm going to work out, and then it's like, okay, wait, I actually didn't eat lunch
like,
at
you
all.
need to-
Like, and now I'm starving, and now it's, like,
So,
for sure.
Like, little accomplishments.
Yes.
Too.
And,
Baby
like,
steps.
yeah.
Taking one step at a
One
time.
step at a time.
That's-
I think last thing for time management is just distractions. Obviously, it's 2024. Everybody has an iPhone, of course, and
TV, Hulu, Netflix.
yeah,
Peacock.
all the streaming
Love Island.
services, just
Oh.
anything. Like, when you're in college, like, you literally, I could be walking back from home, and I literally see my neighbors will be outside tanning. I'm like, well, that looks nice. I would
Yeah.
love to tan. So
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
now I'm
Time for
thinking
that.
about, I kind of want to tan now,
Yeah.
you know? Or it's like, oh, I want to watch TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to scroll on my phone. So I think that's, like, another big thing into time management is the distractions and, like, stuff. Like, obviously, it's not like you shouldn't reward yourself with, like, watching TV or scrolling or tanning or doing whatever. But, like, it also there needs to be, like, a time for it, you know? You can't just prioritize, like, all the fun things.
Knowing yourself, it's like, okay, I'm better doing homework at night. That's, like, just better how I am. Or, like, I like to do homework right when I get home from class. That way my brain is still moving, it's still working, get it all done, and then I have time to chill, do whatever I want. If I get home early enough and get my homework done and the sun's still out, I'll go tan, like that kind of thing. It's like at night, maybe have time to watch a movie, like that kind of thing. Just like knowing yourself and when you like to do things. If you're better going to class, watching a movie, then starting, that's you, not me.
That's true. Scheduling in your distractions.
Yeah.
You
Schedule
know,
them in.
that's valid.
Yeah.
See, I'm like I wake up and I take my medicine and I literally am like, I grind.
Yeah.
And then it comes to night. That's when my brain shuts off. So that's when I allow myself to, like, it's like a reward.
Yeah, it is. It's like a reward.
It's like a reward at the end of the
Oh my
night to
gosh.
watch TV and to scroll on TikTok
Yeah.
and to go on all my social media because I'm never doing any of that during the day. But that's just because I know myself and I will go down a deep hole of losing all my time management to do
And don't, like,
little things like that.
if you see people around you doing things, like, maybe they can take a break.
Be self-aware of your distractions too. Don't be like, I don't get distracted easily. Like, you know, if you pick up your phone, you're going to, like, answer all your text messages and Snapchat people. And being aware of your distractions too helps, you know, so that you can tend to how to solve that.
College is where I learned my boundaries. I can catch myself often, even still to this day, just mindlessly scrolling. And I fall down that rabbit hole all the time. And then really getting down about myself, about, like, you know, I should have done school today. Like, I should have, called my mom, but instead I was on my phone. It takes mental strength to do that.
It does.
And to, tell yourself, like, okay, like, 3, 2, 1, put the phone down and like move on, because your brain is filled with the dopamine that comes from the screen and from constantly being entertained. And so having to put that away and realize, like, oh, I'm, like, not being fed this digital media anymore. I have to do the things that are set before me for the day. Just realizing that you have those boundaries. And college was a really big thing, like, especially freshman year for me. And so, if you haven't figured that out already, colleges will teach you that.
Now we can talk about strategies for effective time management, which is literally my favorite part. I am an iPad girly to my core. I'm an iPad kid. I love my digital planner. At times I do miss my physical planner, though, because it's just, like, it's fun, it's cute, it's girly, you get to personalize it, and it's just, like, it is nice to, like, physically write but it's also nice to have the digital because I can see it on all my devices, along with so easy to erase, so easy to move dates, and like there's pros and cons to both, but definitely having a planner in general is the best way to time management. Like
knowing yourself in that kind of way, it's like, okay, I pull up my digital planner because I'm pulling out my iPad. So like when I'm in class, if they're talking about an assignment or an exam or something, I'm writing that down because I already had it open because I was writing down notes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I know for me, digital planning works better. But for some people, writing in a notebook, like you were going to always have that near you. There's kind of like you said, it's on my phone too, so it's like I can open that. It's like, oh my gosh, like what do I need to do today? I don't know where my iPad is. I don't have it with me, but I can pull it up on my phone, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I have friends that literally are like, I cannot do it on iPad, and it's also like because you have been adjusted or like so familiar with doing physical planning versus like digital. Like it wasn't adjusted to me at first, and at first I was like, I don't know if I like this. Yeah. But then now I'm used to it, and now I love it, and like. Yeah, like, figuring out what works best for you, what tool. Yeah. And trying out both for sure. Yeah. Or seeing, like, which one is more enticing to you and, like, your lifestyle and, like, what would work best.
Yeah. I don't use it anymore, but it's a great resource. It's called Notion.
Yes.
It's free. But I used to use it a lot freshman and sophomore year. And then it was too much for me to update the program every year. Yeah. Because, like, there would be updates and, like, my classes would change. But there are so many different little features that you can input,
and like, all the templates.
Yes. Ooh. And like I would put all my assignments. I remember one semester I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so firm about this, and I would put all my assignments in a giant chart, and there were different like sections where I could like fill in complete, in progress, not done yet. I had a different color code for each class, so purple, was for this and for that, and then I still had that like checkbox at the end that I could like check it off, because I don't know, for me, I just love to check the box. Yeah. That is like, and to-do lists I will always have, and sometimes they end up in my journal, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they end up on my hand. Yeah. But it's still a checklist, and so I'll look
whatever
at
works.
It and I check it off.
Yeah. My favorite app, Good Notes.
Okay.
Is my favorite app.
I love Good Notes.
People like Notability. People like Notability.
Good Notes is better.
But I'm a Good Notes girl.
Me too.
I love it all. I have a folder for every one of my classes, and then a folder for my personal stuff. Like, it just keeps me so organized because all the folders, smart. And then you keep going into every, like, folders on top of folders on top of folders. That's where my digital planner is. That's where my assignment tracker is.
Oh, I could.
That's where my calendar is. That's like.
Yeah. Wow. My entire Good Notes is sponsored by Bella.
My life is on Good Notes. Yeah. If you hear this somehow, please sponsor me. Please sponsor me. I don't think.
Tag him in an Instagram.
Like post. Actually, because I don't think I literally live, breathe, eat, sleep Good Notes. I would die without it, personally. I think
you're the reason I have Good Notes, too.
Yeah, I put everybody on because everyone's like, oh, which one do you use? And they ask me. I'm like, whatever works for you, because I'm all for, people finding, like, what works for them. But if you're going to ask me, and I will stand and rant about Good Notes. I love Good Notes. I think that's such a helpful app. There's so many features on it that also help, I love it. Especially for an iPad girly. And it also connects to all your iOS. Yeah. Unless you're like Madison, who doesn't have a Mac. Yeah, that really sucks. If you have the whole Apple ecosystem, it's on my computer, it's on my iPad, and it's on my phone. So it's like literally everything I need in all of my devices, wherever I am, all at once. Yeah. I don't know. I love it.
Well,
I love it.
I feel like you've just convinced me.
No, yeah.
Because I have an iPad. Like, I have the entire ecosystem.
And it's only a one-time purchase. Yeah. So it's not like a subscription. It is literally the best.
But you can use it for free for a while.
Yeah, you can use it for free. I just have too much.
Yeah, I was about to say, I ran out of space, and I was like, I need more space.
Like I said, my entire life is on that, and also just I was like, okay, I need to buy it so I can literally get every single feature.
And I feel like in that, like, we had a lot of classes together freshman year, and I was like, I would have like just a folder for my class, and then when I see you have a folder for lectures, for readings, I'm like, that makes it so much easier because all your stuff is not just jumbled up in one folder. Yeah. And then like
literally, I can do a whole iPad video.
Yeah.
Comment down below if you want to see how I organize my life, because I am an organized freak in general, as in like literally organizing college, like my room and how everything is laid out in my house. I organize everything to make it easier for myself, because that's the only way to create a good habit.
I'm making that
is to make it easier for yourself. You have you might be planning stuff, you also can't have everything on the same playing field. There has to be like the biggest priority on the top to like the least,
And also being firm to what you've committed to.
Yes.
I think there's something that I learned last year that I think is so good is when you make a promise to yourself, fulfill that promise.
Yeah.
Like, don't break that, because then it's hard for you to commit to things that you've set for yourself. So if the goal is to work out 3 times a week, like if it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, keep it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And maybe it won't work out because you have, you know, a school assignment. Maybe you have things that you physically cannot move around. Make that a priority. Make working out your priority. If that is something that you want to stay consistent in your life, in your daily life, every single day, weeks on end, then like be firm with that.
Yes.
Keep that promise to yourself.
For sure.
One thing I've learned with that is, like, even though I do, like, do this, like, I do it at, like, different times. So, like, say I get done with practice and then I stun afterwards instead of stunning before, then, like, I'll go work out, like, an hour past the time I was normally supposed to work out. Or you can, like, still mix and match your day, like, with what schedule works
allow
best
your
for
schedule to be flexible.
Yeah.
Balancing is super important when it comes to school and social life. Obviously, you're in college, it's fun, you have all these best friends, Greek life, clubs, like all these other social events that go on. It's all fun, but it's also like, my dad always told me, like, always have fun. Like, reminder, you're there to study. Like, you are there for school. That has always been my, like, academics do come first for me. Like, they will, you know. There is a balance, you know. You can't have too much fun time and no academics. Finding that balance is good for your mental and academic performance, you know. It's good to have fun because it's good for you personally, but it's also, you know, you can have both things. You don't have to just have one.
Yeah, and I feel like just knowing, like, things that are constant, like, okay, every Sunday I have chapter, like that kind of thing. I know the time frame of that, get things done before then, go and do this before. I have events this week. I know what days they're on, and I know what times they start, so get my homework done before then. Don't wait until after. Don't be like, oh, I'll just wait till after the event, because what if y'all want to go to dinner after the event? Hang out after the event. Like, just doing things and prioritizing to get your schoolwork done before, because at the end of the day, you are here for school, but social life is important. So get the schoolwork done before, so that's not something that you have to worry about when you're done. And, like, you can just hang out. Like, you're in college. Like, you can really be out till 1 a.m. hanging out at your friend's house.
I think what's so interesting about college versus high school is that people pay to be here. Like,
this is like
to be here.
To get in higher education is truly a blessing.
Get the most of it, because you are paying for it at the end of the day. So, like, don't sit in your room. Join the club. Even if you're scared, even if you're shy. I'm someone who personally is very shy. In my first year, I did a pageant. Getting up on stage is something that I would never do. Just, like, get out of your comfort zone. Just step out and do something that you wouldn't be comfortable with, because at the end of the day, you could love it. You could meet so many amazing people, make your lifetime friends, like your bridesmaids in your wedding, like just from going out and doing things. Like, just, you're here for education, but also be here for the experience. Don't strictly be here
don't
for
focus
education.
too much on one side.
Like, you made me think of this too. We all have that in common. Like, college is our common foundation here.
Yes.
So realizing that, and also they have the same priorities as you, which is school. And so they'll carve out time for homework, so should you. So when you do come together at the end of the day or any time of the day, you both know you have homework to do, you have social life, gatherings, but
it really is. That is like a big issue, I feel like, navigating college that a lot of people struggle with.
Balancing it can be an escape. It's like, okay, I did really bad on my exam today, but I have an event today where I get to go hang out with all my friends and that can cheer me up. So it's like that kind of thing. It's like, as long as you have like a community of people around you, like, it's not just academics. Like, academics, focusing on that alone can be very overwhelming. And it's just like there are some
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I feel like off of that, like, not letting, like, things define you. Like, your grades don't define who you are. Like, that's not what defines you. Like, being a student doesn't define who you are. Like, your grades don't define you. Like, whether you had a bad practice doesn't define you.
On that note, there's, like, this rule I've been trying to tell myself, which I'm still working on, but it's, like, the 5-year rule, where I'm like, okay, so, like, let's say I just failed a test. I'm like, okay, in 5 years from now, is this real? Am I going to be thinking about this test?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Learn from it and keep moving on. You know, it's not something that you need to have stick with you for the entire semester and have it bring you down or give you so much anxiety and stuff like that. Like, along with that, on that topic, navigating the balance of education and social life comes with setting priorities. So just being realistic about the priorities and boundaries you set within your academic life and your social life, you know. Don't take it too far where you're like, okay, I'm having so much fun and I'm not paying attention to school. Like, set that boundary where you're like, I can do this fun thing if I do this, if I get this done, like you mentioned. Let me get this chapter reading and assignment done, and I can do this. Like, finding that balance in both. And
like, don't be too lenient on yourself, because like I do that a lot. I'm like really lenient on myself. I'm like, it's okay. At the same time, it's like whenever you're finding times to be lenient and then finding other times where you're like you gotta go, like you gotta get stuff done, do all of this, do that.
Sometimes it is like the little things and like taking that step for yourself. Like, it really is a reward to take a 20-minute break from a hard test that you're studying for, just to get a sweet treat with your friend. Like, having that break and giving yourself the grace to do that, because at the end of the day, if you're just like constantly being so hard on yourself and putting school so ahead and like just stressing yourself out, like you do need to give yourself like a 10-minute break just to like breathe, get your mind off things. And then also like okay, this is a friend I hang out with outside of studying academically, and then this is a friend that I can go sit in the library with,
and
like,
it's so enjoy it and feel like it's not so one-sided as in only academically.
Like if you like overwork yourself, like it's not, sometimes you don't produce your best work when you're overworking yourself. So like making sure you're taking, not like obviously taking too much time to take a break, but like just make sure you take that breather. Like, don't stress you out to the point where your mental health isn't good and you're not having your best, you're not in the best mindset, you're overthinking, you're like, what if I fail? And that's just your mindset going into this test because you put so much pressure on yourself. So it's kind of like
you can enjoy college without letting social activities interfere with academic responsibilities.
Like, going off of that, following like sacrificing for like social life and like still wanting to have grades and like good grades and stuff is like FOMO, and that's something that I like really struggle with. And I think that's why I'm such a yes person, and then trying to be at everywhere at once, even if it's like not even like satisfying like my feelings, is because I like just want to be able to like experience everything, be in on the jokes, like know what's going on like all the time, and try so hard to like be involved in everything and like know everything that's going on. And it's like I'm still behind. Like, I still have FOMO in all aspects of my life. Like, you can't be everywhere at once. It's something that I, like, learn. And then I, like you can, like, try it again on, like, in on something, and you're, like, still behind.
FOMO is definitely a big issue in college. Definitely a big issue, especially when it comes to balancing social life and academics. Obviously, that goes into the social life aspect. But
and, like, all your social circles. Like, I have so many different social circles that I, like, try to do everything with, like my sorority social circle, my cheer social circle, like hang out with my boyfriend, like seeing my family, like trying to like do everything, but then committing to all 4 of them in one night. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to go hang out with my cheer friends and my Pi Phi friends and my boyfriend, and I have to like go like do this with my like parent. Like, I don't know.
And then it's like you're honestly getting more FOMO because you're not even at one place the entire time to like
I like don't
feel
even
fulfilled enough that it's like you're actually missing something from everyone except like, oh, I got something from this.
Handling FOMO, like understanding that like everyone has FOMO, and a lot of people like not everyone's gonna be there every single time you're like doing something. So like,
and like it's okay. Like you know, it needs to be accepted that, you know, it's okay to not be somewhere. It's okay to miss out. You know, it's okay. They look like they're having an amazing time on social media, which also
social media
impacts FOMO as well, because like, okay, I see people and I'm like, wait, they look like they're having a blast, which in reality could not always be true.
Social media is very deceiving.
It's very deceiving, and it's not necessarily that fun as it looks. But that's what usually gets me, because if I don't see it, out of sight, out of mind.
I do think it's like, for me, I've never really been big on FOMO, just because, like I said, I do like to have my alone time. So, like, I feel like when I'm by myself, like, I'm still rewarding myself, like, having fun, going out with my friends. That's still fun for me. But so is being by myself. But it's kind of like knowing that balance. It's like, okay, maybe this day I'll go out. This day I'm going to stay home just so I can have that time for me.
And also, too, like, I struggled with FOMO a lot more last year than this year. But I just remember last year, Pitbull came in OKC Paycom Center, and all of my roommates went except for me. I was gone. I was out of town, and I just remember seeing them post, and like in the moment I was really heartbroken. I was really sad that they were out and about doing this really fun thing, getting to watch Pitbull. But I just remember like we all regrouped that week following the weekend, and it was honestly really special and really nice to just get to sit down and talk and like debrief where we were all at. Like, I mean, it's those special moments too where like you weren't with your friends and you probably experienced FOMO, but you were also doing something else. And so it's good to regroup and like get to debrief with each other. And that's also like special quality time too with your friends.
Yeah. Freshman year I had the worst FOMO. And then last year I got good about it where I was like, if I don't want to go, I don't need to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Not having too much. And it's another balance of FOMO.
I also think growing up, too, it's like freshman year. It's like you're in a new environment. Everybody's doing this. Oh, I want to go. I want to go. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I feel like growing up now, it's like junior year. I'm like, I don't really need to do that.
Yeah.
And I saw this one TikTok. It was like joy of missing out. Like
yeah.
sometimes
Jomo,
yeah. I was like, like Jomo, like sometimes I do enjoy staying home. Like I like to, sometimes it's nice to just have a girls' night in the house.
So
and just chill. The joy of just being by yourself and being alone in your thoughts, because like academics is so stressful. Sometimes you do need to have the time for yourself to just chill. And like you said, it's like I've been so busy that I don't want to be around people when I'm like finally ready to relax. Like I just want to have that time for myself. Yeah. So I feel like just kind of balancing that. It's like, but your friends miss you too at the end of the day. So like they want to see you.
They still want to see you and hang out with you.
So don't like be so.
Don't be a stranger. But
don't be a stranger. But like make sure you're also like prioritizing what you feel. And
don't miss out too much, because then you won't get to have those experiences.
Some semesters are harder than others. So let's say maybe spring semester. Oh, I have hard classes this semester, but fall, I can go and do the things that I would want to do. So it's kind of like that kind of thing. It's like maybe the semester is hard for you, but it's not, every semester is not going to be the same.
Anyways, just to recap our whole episode about coming back to campus and navigating the transition. We're back in school now. We're in our third week, and we kind of just covered everything from the transition of summer to coming back into the fall semester to managing your time, and lastly, balancing school and social life. All really important things when it comes to coming in from the summer and just starting a new year. And
this is something that like everyone struggles with in like their own ways. Like we all just talked about all the different ways.
Currently like that. I can't give this advice and say I'm not still taking it myself. Like
and upperclassmen too, like being an upperclassman, like it's still things I'm learning myself. Like nobody's perfect in the aspect of academic, social life, anything like that. Like it's constant growing no matter what year you are. Even if it's your last year here, like it's like you're constantly growing.
Like big words of AF girl. Don't be overwhelmed if you're, returning back to college, or you're going to college, or you're not at college just yet. Just knowing that, like, things will work out, too. And, like, college is a place of growth. And, like, we're learning in school and out of school. Like, we're a sponge. We're just soaking everything in. We're learning what it means to be an adult, too. Like, I mean, taking care of yourself, like making a schedule, building that up for yourself. And it's a lot of self-discovery too. And these are the most like formative years of our lives. And so don't be overwhelmed. It'll work out. I mean, moving into college is scary, but I mean, big things like that are always going to be scary, but just taking that challenge head on and, recognizing that it is scary, but, being strong, mentally strong.
Yeah. I like it.
Anyways, we invite all of y'all to go ahead and DM us and comment any of your own experiences, any of your own tips, leave them down below so that people can see and you can help out others that also are going through the same thing. Make sure to follow our Instagram, our TikTok, and go look at our episodes on Spotify. Everything should be at the 405 Diaries. So just make sure to follow us. We'll have a Q&A sometime soon. So just keep on the lookout for that. But join our community, and maybe y'all will start your own diary.
Stay tuned for our next episode where we talk about not only loving yourself, but loving others.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.